Hi folks, Pete Lane. Welcome to another Blind Abilities iPhone 101 demonstration. Today, we're going to be reviewing the Reminders app, the native Apple app that provides organization and structure to your life by allowing you to schedule events, tasks, things to do, create lists, and stay on top of your day-to-day routines. We're going to be taking two approaches to this app. The first will be a brief review of the layout of the user interface, checking for scheduled reminders, scheduling tasks, and creating lists that will help categorize the types of things that you want to do moving into the future. The second approach we will be taking will be an easier and simpler hands-free approach by scheduling and checking tasks, creating lists, and planning your organizational outlook into the future by the use of the Siri function. So without further ado, let's get started. Hey Siri, open Reminders.
Reminders, edit, button.
And here we are in the Reminders app. Again, this is a native Apple app that comes on all iDevices. We have the user interface set out for us. Let's just walk through it very quickly. As you heard when we opened the app, we had the edit function.
Edit, button.
We'll flick to the right.
Search field.
We can search for tasks by name.
Dictate, button.
And there's our dictate button.
Today, one reminder, August 13th, button.
Now this is a reminder that was already scheduled. It is a button. Let's take a quick look with a single finger double tap.
Incomplete. Get started more, button.
Now it gave us a few broken words there, so let's go to the top of this new screen.
List, back button.
We'll flick to the right.
More, button. Today, heading, incomplete. Get started on iPhone 101 demonstration on the Reminders app. In Reminders, today, practice using the Reminders app and get familiar with its layout and function.
Now there you heard a bunch of information, but the first word of the explanation was
incomplete.
Incomplete. And that indicates that the task has been scheduled but not yet completed or fulfilled until I check it. In fact, my having checked it right now will turn it to complete. As you also heard, this task is to
get started on iPhone 101 demonstration on the Reminders app.
Get started on the iPhone 101 demonstration of the Reminders app, which I'm doing now. If I continue to flick with my rotor set at words,
practice using the Reminders app and get familiar with its layout and function.
So that's what we're doing. So I'll continue to flick to the right.
Toolbar, new reminder button.
Now at the bottom of each of these screens, we do have a toolbar starting with a new reminder button. At the very bottom of this screen, we have
new reminder button.
A new reminder. So we can add a new reminder. And that's the last element on this screen. So let's go back up.
List, back button.
To our back button. Single finger double tap.
List, edit, button.
So we'll flick to the right here.
Search field, dictate, button. Today, one reminder, August 13th, button.
Now we have that today scheduled reminder.
My lists, heading.
This is my lists, which is a heading. No action is needed.
Reminders, one reminder, list badge, orange. Actions available.
Now remember, this is a list. When we hit our back button, we return to the list screen. Be careful with the terminology because we will see the term reminders used to describe both an actual task reminder and, as in this case, a list. So pay close attention to the terminology.
Toolbar, add list button.
And here's our toolbar on the main screen, the first button of which is to add list.
New reminder button.
And there's our new reminder button. So our toolbar on screen 1 consists of two action items.
Add list button.
One would be to add a new list.
New reminder button.
Or add a new reminder. So that we will see on screen 1. Let's go back to our
edit button.
Edit button. Double tap with one finger.
Edit. Done button.
We have a done button. Clicking to the right.
Search field.
Again, we have a search field.
Dictate button.
There's our dictate button.
Selected. Today, one reminder. Actions available.
Our reminder for today is already selected.
Scheduled. One reminder. Actions available.
We have one scheduled. Let's take a look at this. I'll double tap with one finger.
Selected. Scheduled. One reminder.
Clicking to the right.
All. One reminder.
That's a total of all of our reminders that are on the books.
Flagged. 0 reminders.
We can flag reminders.
Assigned to me. 0 reminders. Actions available.
These can represent tasks that are collaborative tasks between two or more people, and this will designate which of those people it is assigned to. Nothing there yet.
My lists, heading.
And here's my list. Let's delve into this.
Reminders, one reminder, list badge, orange, button, actions available.
So this is the first of our lists, which is a reminders list. That's the title of the list. Let's see if we have any others. Flicking to the right.
Toolbar, add group, button.
We can add a group, and when we do so, the responsibility can be shared by multiple people. Flicking to the right again.
Add list, button.
And this is the last element on this particular screen. Add list. It's a button. Let's go ahead and add a list now. I'll double tap with one finger.
List title, text field, is editing, word mode, insertion point at start.
Our text field opens up. We need to name the list.
Insertion point at end.
And I'll dictate the name of the list. Grocery list.
Inserted grocery list.
Good. We have our title. Let's flick to the right.
Color selection, red, button.
And we can designate a color, which you may recall I did on the reminders action item. I colored it orange, but being totally blind, the colors are meaningless to me. So let's just flick to the right. For those who can use colors, we have quite a few to select from. Flicking to the right.
Orange, button, yellow, button, green, button, light blue, button, selected, blue, button.
I must have previously selected blue, and I'll stop there. You get the picture, and there are probably a half a dozen or more remaining colors, but we already have blue selected, so I will go back to the top with a 4-finger single tap.
Double tap to dismiss pop-up window, button, cancel, button, new list, heading, done, button.
And there's our done button. So I'll double tap with 1 finger.
Selected, scheduled, 1 reminder, actions available.
So we're back on our main screen. Let's go back to the top with the 4-finger single tap.
Done, button.
And there's our done. Let's hit that.
Done, edit, button.
All right, we're set. Now let's flick to the right and see what we've got.
Search field, dictate, button.
Search and dictate are always there.
Today, 1 reminder, August 13th, button. Scheduled, 1 reminder, button. My lists, heading, reminders, 1 reminder, list badge, orange, actions available.
There's our previous list called reminders with 1 task already scheduled.
Grocery list, 0 reminders, list badge, blue.
And there's our grocery list. There's actions available. That usually designates that there's a menu for which we perform a 1-finger flick up or down to see what our menu options are. Let's do that. I'll flick down.
Delete.
We can delete that grocery list.
Name and appearance.
We can alter the name and appearance. We could change the name to do or books to read, things along those lines.
Drag item.
I flick down again with my single finger. We can drag this to a different spot. We could make it the first of our 2 lists or where it is now the second. I'll flick down again.
Activate, default.
And we can activate it. Let's do that.
Lists, back button.
Flicking to the right.
More, button. Grocery list. Empty list. Reminders list. No reminders. Toolbar. New reminder, button.
And that's the last element on this screen. I'll single finger double tap and we'll put a reminder into our new list.
New reminder. Edit details, button.
We can edit the details of our new reminder.
Quick bar, date and time, button.
The date and time.
Location, button.
We can indicate the location which we want to trigger the reminder. This location feature allows you to set the reminder to notify you when you arrive at or leave a particular location. We'll look at that in a moment.
Flagged, button.
I don't see any need to do this at this point.
Photos, button.
We can attach a photo to give us a little bit more information in completing the task that we've just created. So let's go back to
Quick bar, flagged, location, date and time, button.
Date and time, and I'll double tap with 1 finger.
Date and time, quick bar. Today, Friday, August 13th, button.
Well, I don't want to set it for today. Let's see if we can set it for tomorrow. I'll flick to the right.
Tomorrow, Saturday, August 14th, button.
I'll double tap with 1 finger.
Selected. Tomorrow, Saturday, August 14th.
Flicking to the right.
Next weekend, Saturday, August 21st, button. Date and time, button.
Here's our date and time.
Apply, button. Date, August 14th, 2021, on.
We've got it.
Month, August 2021, button. Adjustable.
We don't have to adjust it.
Sunday, August 1st, Monday, August 2nd, Tuesday, August 3rd.
And we continue as is. Let's go to the bottom of this list and see if there's anything that will wrap it up.
Repeat, never, button.
We have a repeat button, which we don't want to repeat. But if it is a daily or weekly task or once per month, perhaps a scheduled appointment on the first Saturday of each month, we could indicate that here as a repeating appointment. I'll flick back to the left.
Time, off.
We do want to designate a time for our task to be completed tomorrow. So let's double tap here.
Date, August 14th, 2021, on. Time, 11 a.m., on.
So there we have an 11 a.m. time, and you hear it say on, which just means that that particular indicator is active and we can adjust it to whatever time that we wish. I'll flick to the right.
Time, hours, 11 o'clock, adjustable.
Now I want to adjust this. I want to make this a 1 p.m. task. I will be adding items to my grocery list, and my son will be going to the grocery store at 1 p.m. tomorrow. So I'll flick down.
11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And I'll flick to the right.
Minutes, 00 minutes, adjustable.
And the 00 minutes is fine. I'll flick to the right again.
Selected, AM, button, 1 of 2.
And I want to select PM.
PM, button, 2 of 2.
We will double tap with 1 finger.
Selected, PM, 2 of 2.
Flicking to the right.
Repeat, never, button.
I'll flick back to the left.
Selected, PM, button, AM, button.
I'm flicking to the left with 1 finger.
Time, 1 p.m. Date, August 14th, apply, button.
And there's our apply button. I'll double tap with a single finger.
List, back button.
And we'll go to our back button.
List, grocery list, 1 reminder, list badge, blue, actions available, toolbar, add list, button, new reminder, button. Text field is editing, title, word mode, insertion point at start.
So here's our first identifier under the grocery list. I'll do a 2-finger double tap, the magic tap. To initiate dictation, bread, comma, Gatorade, comma, red premium ale.
Inserted bread, Gatorade, red premium ale.
Let's go ahead and see what other identifiers we can add to make this task a little bit more specific. Flicking to the right.
Notes, text field.
Let me add a note.
Insertion point at end.
Red premium ale should be the kind that we purchased last week.
Details, button, text field, is editing. Red premium ale should be the kind that we purchased last week. Word mode, insertion point at end.
There, VoiceOver repeated my dictation. It sounded a little odd to me, so let me turn my rotor to words and be sure that it got it properly. I'll flick my rotor.
Headings, words.
There's words. I'll flick down to go one word at a time.
Bread, Gatorade, red premium ale, text field. Red premium ale should be the kind that we purchased. Insertion point at start. Red premium male.
It got it wrong. We have male instead of ale. So let me turn my rotor again to
text selection.
Text selection. And I want to delete the word male and replace it with the word ale. So I will set my text selection option to
word selection.
Word selection. And since my insertion point was at the end of the word male, I will flick to the left to select the word.
Male selected.
And I will go to find my delete button on my keyboard.
Delete.
And perform a single finger double tap.
Male.
So male has been deleted, and I want to enter the word ale.
A-L-L-E-E.
Okay, there we have ale.
Premium ale should be the kind that we purchased last week.
I don't recall the brand name, or I would have put that in here, but it was just a very good ale. So we're done with the further description of our grocery list task. We will do a 4-finger single tap.
Add button.
And trigger the add button.
Grocery list, 1 reminder, list badge, blue.
Let's go back to the top of the page.
Edit button.
And we're back at our edit button. So we have now completed the first approach to the demonstration of our Reminders app, and that is to become familiar with the user interface, the screens of the app using VoiceOver, entering text, etc. As you may recall in my initial introduction, we will tackle this app with 2 approaches. Specifically, in our first approach, we set out to do the following: checking for scheduled reminders, scheduling tasks, and creating lists. And we have demonstrated all 3 of those tasks. And just one more reminder, be careful when listening to terminology. One potential mistake might come if we confuse the term reminders for a reminders list versus a reminders task. If you keep those straight, the interface is pretty straightforward, but it will be even simpler as we discuss in part 2, the simple hands-free approach using the Hey Siri option. I'll be right back. Sit tight. Okay, let's take a look at an easier way to work in the Reminders app using the Siri function. The commands that we can use with Siri range from very simple and very general to very specific. Let me give you an example. Hey Siri, set a reminder.
What do you want to be reminded about?
To begin physical therapy homework exercises.
All right, I've added it to reminders.
Okay, good. Now, we could be a little bit more specific as follows. Hey Siri, remind me to begin physical therapy exercises tomorrow at 1 p.m.
Okay, your reminder is set for tomorrow 1 p.m.
Hey Siri, add bread and beer to my shopping list.
All right, I added those 2 things.
Hey Siri, add premium red ale to my shopping list.
All right, I've added it to your shopping list.
And you can ask Siri to do things based on a particular time. For example, hey Siri, remind me to call Robin at 4 p.m. today.
Okay, added to today's reminders.
And you can schedule reminders based on your location. For example, hey Siri, when I leave home today, remind me to stop at the supermarket to grab a box of rice.
Okay, added to today's reminders.
Now let's check to see what reminders we have on the books. Hey Siri, read me today's reminders.
There are 8 reminders. Here are the first 5. Apples. Bread. Call Robin this afternoon 4 p.m. Grapes. Beer. Do you want to hear more?
Yes.
Pick up a box of rice at the supermarket tonight or when leaving Pete Lane's home. Cucumbers. Premium red ale.
Read me items on my shopping list.
There are 3 reminders on your shopping list. Bread, beer, premium red ale.
Read items on my grocery list.
There are 3 reminders on your grocery list. Apples, grapes, cucumbers.
So we have a total of 8 reminders, but as you heard, they're split into separate lists. I apparently created a shopping list and a grocery list, which is redundant, and you heard several items repeated on each of those lists. So a word of caution here. Be careful again with your terminology, this time in naming your lists, as you may ask Siri for items on a specific list, and they may have been on another list with a similar name, as in the case of my shopping list versus my grocery list. And as I have already demonstrated, Siri can now add multiple items to a single list without having to repeat your commands. For example, Add apples, grapes, and cucumbers to my shopping list.
All right, I added those 3 things.
And now you can change a reminder. Remove apples, grapes, and cucumbers from my shopping list.
Okay, I added those 3 things.
Siri is able to delete reminders, the tasks and items that I have added to each of my lists. However, Siri is currently not able to delete lists. Okay, let's test it out. Listen carefully to her responses when I ask her to delete lists. Hey Siri, delete my shopping list.
I didn't find any reminders to delete.
Hey Siri, delete my grocery list.
I didn't find any reminders to delete.
Hey Siri, delete my reminders list.
I didn't find any reminders to delete.
So as you heard, she will not delete lists. What you'll need to do is go to the Reminders app, flick to your list, and then use the action items on your rotor to flick up or down until you get to the delete option. Double tap, and that's the way you'll delete a list. Let's double check to see that she has removed all of the reminders. Hey Siri, read all my reminders.
There are no reminders.
There we go. Now let's look a little bit into the group lists and take a quick review on how we can share those lists. So let me go to the interface again. Okay, I'm in the main screen of my Reminders app. Let's flick to my to-do list, and I'm going to add a task and then a person to transform this list to a group list and then share the list and some information with that other person. So let me flick to
Shopping, 0 reminders, list badge. To do, 0 reminders, list badge, blue.
my to-do list. I'll double tap.
Lists back button.
Let's flick through the screen and see what we've got.
More button. To do, heading, empty list.
It's an empty list.
Toolbar, new reminder, button.
Let's add a new reminder to our to-do list.
New reminder, to do, heading, text field, is editing, word mode, insertion point at start.
Now let me set a new reminder. Schedule new podcast.
Text field, is editing, schedule new podcast, word mode, insertion point at end.
And I'll continue flicking to the right.
Edit details, button, quick bar, date and time, button, location, button, flagged, button, photos, button, edit details, button, actions available.
Let's edit the details.
Schedule new podcast, text field.
There's the title.
Notes, text field, URL, text field, date, off, time, off, location, off, when messaging, off, flag, off, priority, none, button, when messaging, off.
Now let's give this option a try.
Selecting this option will show the reminder notification when chatting with a person in messages. Choose person, search field, dictate, button.
Jeff Thompson.
Inserted Jeff Thompson. Search results. Top name matches. Heading. Jeff Thompson 5055. When messaging. On. Selecting this option will show the reminder notification when chatting with a person in messages. Priority. None. Button. Share list. Button. Share this with others and everyone will see the latest changes. Choose how you'd like to send your invitation. Messages. Button. Mail. Button. Mail. To do reminders. Button. Subject. To do is editing. Word mode. Insertion point at end. T. Results. Jeff Thompson. Subject. To do. Message body. Insertion point at start.
Hey Jeff, I'm doing a follow-up on a Reminders action as discussed in the iPhone 101 demo on the Reminders app, period. I will fill you in more later, period. Thanks, period.
Inserted Hey Jeff, I'm doing a follow-up on Reminders action as discussed in the iPhone 101 demo on the Reminders app. I will fill you in more later. Thanks. Cancel. Button. To do. Heading. Send. Button.
So that should have sent an email to Jeff under the share mechanism in the Reminders app. Now, there are a few more features that we did not touch on. One that we did not review is setting a priority for your reminders. For the most part, these are visual indicators that are put on particular reminders that would indicate a priority level 1, 2, or 3. For sighted people, this adds an exclamation point, 2 exclamation points, or 3 exclamation points to distinguish the degree of priority. Those are easily added to your reminders by going into the More button on each particular reminder. So that pretty much winds up our demonstration on the native Apple Reminders app. Remember, we started with a 2-pronged approach to reviewing this app. The first was to review the interface itself, typing in reminders, and then our second approach was to enlist the Hey Siri process, which is considerably quicker and hands-free and therefore easier for all of us to use. While we did find some confusion in the layout of the app, even when using the Siri approach, all in all, the simple tasks and even some of the more advanced tasks are considerably quicker and easier using Siri. So I hope you got something out of this. If you have any specific questions regarding this presentation or some items that we have not touched on, don't hesitate to shoot us an email at info@blindabilities.com. We'll be happy to research any questions that you have and be sure that you get a good answer. Thanks so much for listening and have a great day.
When we share, what we see
through each other's eyes, we can then begin to bridge the gap between
the limited expectations and the realities
of blind ability.
The realities of blind
abilities.
For more podcasts with a blindness perspective, check us out on the web at www.blindabilities.com, on Twitter at blindabilities. Download our app from the App Store, blindabilities, that's 2 words, or send us an email at info@blindabilities.com. Thanks for listening.